Oh, hello. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steve, and this is 60 Cycle Hum, your guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
We're your guitar friends on the internet. Doing a podcast. Doing the PCast thing. Again, in the garage. No big deal. Just a couple guys in a garage with guitars and microphones.
PCasting.
Just PCasting. Just piss casting. No big deal.
That was like the moment where it's like you explained the joke.
Right. And then I went too far. I hear a lot of like European, like British type people say it. They say taking the piss out of something when they're talking about someone like teasing something and like taking the seriousness out of it.
Is that what it means?
I think so. Like it's such an odd phrase to me. Like how do you react mentally when you see people using that phrase?
Taking the piss.
Because it's like it doesn't make any sense to me. Like I don't get the visual.
Okay, so it says taking the piss is a term meaning to take liberties at the expense of others, or to be joking, or to be unreasonable.
It's trolling.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, okay, so it's taking the Mickey or taking the mick is also a term. So I always took it as like in the way of like beating the piss out of somebody, which I guess is more physical, and taking the piss.
Wow, you went to a violent direction with that.
Well, I'm saying, but they're both things where you're doing the piss. Like the result is
you're
the piss.
Doing the piss. Is that going to be the episode title? Doing the piss. Don't mind me. I'm just doing the piss. Jeez. But you're saying that you're the one doing the pissing, and you're like,
no, I'm saying so like you would say like, oh man, he really, like if you're watching like a boxing match and one guy is clearly like
beating the piss out of someone,
like, oh man, he really like beat the piss out of that guy. Like it's like, oh, he really like showed him up. Like he really like
right
like beat him.
He defeated him.
I guess like taking the piss is like you're doing it, but it's because, well, you know, it's because the British are so proper. They would never bare knuckle brawl anybody. They would only take them down in a gentlemanly way with their words.
Like a very American television version of what British people are.
That's not the way
British people actually are.
Haven't you watched The Crown?
I have not.
What's funny actually about that is I watched Sherlock Holmes the other day, why
are we even talking about British people?
You freaking brought it up, dude.
Boring. We like Americans around here.
Yeah.
You have anything new, Steve?
I do not. Do you have anything new,
I
sir?
do have new stuff. These have been a long time in the making. I got 2 new wiring harnesses from Gun Street. First of all, I've got a Telecaster wiring harness for my...
Oh my gosh. Is that real?
What are you looking at, Steve?
Taking the piss out of someone is literally like making someone... The idea is that you're making fun of somebody who has false pride. And it's a reference to morning wood that's caused by a full bladder.
Oh, so once a person has the piss evacuated from their body, then they lose their morning wood.
Yeah,
that's what you're trying to do is like take away someone's boner.
That is what is claimed as the origin.
Well,
of
now
the
at
phrase.
least I have a visual that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and 2 episodes in a row, I get to drop an explicit without any of George Carlin's 7 words being uttered.
So, anyways, I've got a wiring harness from Gun Street. This one is for my contemporary Telecaster back there.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to drop a 3rd humbucker in it soon, and I wanted to have coil splitting for all the humbuckers.
This pot, I'll just rip the shaft out of.
So there's only going to be 1 push pull, and it's going to coil split all of the humbuckers.
Right.
So all of them will be coil split, and then I think this is just a 3-way switch here. Yep, just 3-way, 1 humbucker at a time.
Ooh.
No blending between them.
That's cool.
I was just like, I never combine humbuckers. Why don't I just make it super simple? Like I'll have this 3 humbucker guitar that's just like dirt simple. I love the concept of it because I was trying to think of all these like complicated switching ways to have an individual switch for each pickup and whatnot, and be able to like, you know, in theory, change it into a 3 pickup guitar with all the blending and whatever. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Let's just make it simple. And then this has been in the works for a while.
What is this?
This is for the Epiphone SL.
Oh, okay.
This is for pickup testing because I've got trays in there that I'm going to swap in and out with different pickups. And talking to Sean, he was like, well, what are you going to do about different pot values and different tone values and things like that? I was like, I hadn't thought about it. So this harness is very unique. There's a lot of wires here. It's going to allow me to go between 2 different pots for volume only. So if I throw a single coil in there, I'll be able to switch to a 250. If I throw in a humbucker, I'll be able to switch to a 500. If I'm comparing humbuckers, that's very useful. If I'm comparing singles, that's very useful. And then I'll also have a rotary switch that puts in just the value of a couple different tone controls.
Yeah, a couple different capacitors.
Just to have them in line so it simulates that, I suppose. Maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but I know that there's some sort of, like tone simulation there to switch between what would be common for singles and humbuckers and stuff like that.
That's so weird.
So it's kind of a really unique, complicated.
What do these switches do then?
I haven't spent time with it yet, and you keep grabbing it from me, so I can't even look at it. There is a 3-way switch here that does something. I don't know. I need to spend the time to actually figure it out. This is the first time I've opened it. But Sean and I have talked about this at length, trying to figure out what I would need for this. So this will be pretty interesting.
Okay, so you've got no tone, humbucker tone, single coil tone. You've got one switch that switches between. So one. Okay, so.
Oh, you know what? This has got to be a switch for neck and bridge.
That's neck and bridge, and then the middle is middle.
And then this switch is going to be for
500K,
yeah,
250K. No, it's 500K, 250, or off.
Does it have?
And then I'm trying.
Oh, it does have a middle position.
I'm trying to figure out if the off sends.
This thing is a piece of work.
So the off, I think, is just going to send you straight. Like that's just a bypass position.
Yeah, it's just a bypass.
So it's bypassing. So then it just goes to tone, and it bypasses your volume.
This is a piece of work right here. He really spent some time on this. I mean, they're not technically a sponsor right now because we're switching to doing like some video stuff with them soon. And that's what he's spending his budget on for us. But man, check out Gun Street. Like they can solve some problems for you.
Did I tell you, I think
this is such a unique thing.
Did I tell you I somehow lost the shirt he gave me at NAMM?
What? How'd you lose a shirt?
I think I might have left it at the NAMM house.
That's a bummer.
I don't know. I just can't find it anywhere.
Keep an eye out for Phil or Aaron or Cole walking around.
Well, I think he gave them shirts too, so it probably doesn't help.
See if they're wearing two at a time. Yeah. Or the wrong size. So that's my new. You ready to get into this?
Yeah,
let's try to make this a short episode.
This first ad was sent by Brad Williams. It's a Telecaster Tuxedo parts caster. I don't even know what Telecaster Tuxedo means.
Yeah, what does it even mean?
Parts caster, custom tele, hand sculpted guitar. Guitar with fender bag. Custom built telly, pre-owned guitar in very good condition. Please see photos. Wants $850. Custom built Telecaster, hand sculpted. It's built by Del Duca Custom Classics in the USA with USA and imported licensed parts. Yeah, that bridge is definitely imported.
Yeah, that's a cheapy bridge. You can always tell by the saddles. Also, the length of those screws. Like that's like a Squier thing, right? When you get the long
I just
screws.
realized that this has 2 pick guards.
Yeah, it's got to. Is that? No, because the top isn't a pick guard. It's like finished to be black.
Oh, is that?
And then there's a black pick guard on top of it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so it's a weird look.
Oh, God, so strange.
I mean, let's say the obvious about this for the people listening on the podcast. Like this thing looks like it has a butt.
Yeah, I can kind of see it now. You are really into this butt thing. I think maybe you just see butts.
No, look at this. This guitar's got a butt. I'm going to try to...
I can see it.
I'm going to try to describe this in a way that makes sense. It's a Telecaster body, but then parts of the body have been very gracefully and very skillfully carved away. The top of the guitar is black, and where it's been carved away is a natural, like almost skin tone finish with the wood grain flowing throughout. And there's this little part down by just above like the edge
where the jack is.
Where the jack is, where a little bit of the top black part like pushes out over the wood natural part, and that wood natural part is carved down to be just this subtle, cute little like butt cheek shape. So you get this visual look where this little black, like kind of like underpants kind of shape is going over a butt shape. And it's not gross. It's kind of adorable. It's an adorable butt shape on this guitar. And I really encourage everyone listening to go look at the pictures and the links in the episode description, because it is pretty wild.
All right, $850. You going for this?
Well, you know what? To be honest, like, even though it does look like a butt, it like the woodworking here looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
It looks really, really slick and really, really well done. I mean, despite it looking like, you know, the bridge is cheaper hardware and, you know, it's hard to tell the value of the neck. It is a Fender neck. You can tell by this one photo where there's just a little bit of the F sticking out there. So it's kind of a parts caster sort of situation. But then the bodywork is so slick.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like 850 is probably on point for the skill level of the bodywork, but you've got to find someone who really wants this look. I mean, I really like a lot of the elements of this. Like I like the red and the yellow pinstriping around this black shape that's going on. I feel like I would commission the person who built this to build something where I checked off on the design first. And I was like, okay, these are shapes I like better.
These are sold through a store called Axtrix. AXETRIX.com.
Are we going to find out that this is a cheap piece of crap or something?
This is one of those websites. So $850 is a starting point for a bass customized guitar.
A bass?
A bass
I know
price for. But what's weird is, so this website has a visitor counter on it. It is mobile friendly, so it's like whoever is hosting the site like created a mobile friendly version of it. But the gallery is on this weird like rotational thing. The gallery itself is not at all mobile friendly. Does not.
It looks like the most beautiful website you could imagine in 1998.
Well, it's like if you took a website from 1998 and then made it mobile friendly out of nowhere.
Yeah. And who puts
really
a view counter anymore?
Well, that's part of it. Anyway, I don't know. These are. It seems like there's a legitimacy to the build. The quality is there. Let's talk about the thing on this guitar that you really hate.
That just completely pisses me off is the strap button behind the upper horn of the Telecaster shape. Like, why would you do that? Why would anyone ever do that? Like, it's fine to have it in the regular place on a Telecaster. It's not like an SG where there's not enough wood to hold it in the top horn. Like, there's plenty of wood up there. And like, I hate it when I have to compromise and have a strap button that sticks out the back, because then the body hangs off the strap really funny. And it just doesn't feel nice to me.
I don't know why.
And it's such an odd location for it.
Sam kind of has this going on his Strat.
He has it on a Strat?
Yeah, so it's not this far on the body, but he has his Strat button on like the inside of the horn instead of on the end of the horn.
On the like tucked in underneath the horn, kind of like on the Pure Salem
it's
back
like
there.
If it would be like here.
Oh, so it is on the back.
Yeah, I'm saying it would just be like on this part.
I thought you meant like it would be right there underneath
like
the
here.
horn. That's weird. Why?
I think it's here. Maybe it's no. I'm thinking it's here.
Ask Sam.
I have no idea.
Next time you see Sam, just be like, "Hey, Sam, Ryan wants to know why."
I feel like I asked him and he gave me an answer and I forgot. Like maybe he just bought it and it was there, and he threw it on and it was comfortable, so he just went with it.
That's so weird.
Also, you have to remember that he's a little dude, so it probably just sits completely different on him. Literally, okay.
I guess so. I don't know.
So literally this past...
It hurts my head to think about that. Because the Strat is built perfectly to have the strap hang off that top
The last time
horn.
I played with him, he was standing a full step above where I was standing on the platform, and we were like the same height.
I get it, Steve. You're tall.
No,
Sam is short.
The point isn't that
tall.
I'm tall. The point is that he's short.
Sam is short. Steve is tall. We all get it.
Every guitar that I own is actually a giant version of that guitar to make it look normal.
Should we jump into the topic?
Yeah, this first topic was sent to us by Jason Fuzzmonger. And he says the current state and the current state and future of home listening devices. I'm sitting here with music cranked through my studio monitors, and even though I don't consider it loud, I can feel the bass, and it can be heard outside through my open windows fairly easily. When I was a kid, everyone had at least a semi-decent home stereo system. Now it seems like people are satisfied with puny little Bluetooth speakers. Why is quality home sound going the way of the dinosaur? What happened?
People aren't just satisfied with Bluetooth speakers. We have a Bluetooth speaker in my kitchen.
Uh-huh.
It takes about a second to sync your phone to it.
Okay.
It's minimal effort. And for the vast majority of the time, my wife prefers just to use the built-in speaker on her phone to listen to music. And that's a step way below
that
the Bluetooth
actually,
speaker.
So listening to anything through the speakers on my phone, I don't mind it most of the time. Melissa hates it.
I don't mind it if it's like dialogue. I can listen to a podcast that way. But when it's music, it's like, I mean, the Bluetooth speaker that we have, it's a cheap one. It's like $30 or something like that through Amazon. And it kicks some bass. It sounds full. It doesn't sound like a huge home stereo system. I don't need that when I'm cooking in the kitchen. I just want to hear some music. It's like, I mean, I like this topic because we all, you and me, grew up in a time where it's like, everyone had at least a boombox. It had two, 8-inch speakers in it, or two 6-inch speakers, and tweeter, and it's like a little cut in the bottom that made you think there was a sub,
right? And a little button on it, bass boost.
Yeah. Or you would see someone's fancy home stereo, and there'd be faders, and there would be 12 band EQs and stuff like that, programmable things, and a little graphic screen that would show things moving around and stuff.
You know what some of it is? I think right off the bat, getting into it is, I think the easy answer is the first easy answer is that, the console, the standalone console record player, where it's a record player that's also a dinner table.
Right.
It's on a side table.
Yeah. You could eat dinner on it.
Yeah, I mean, you could, but you wouldn't.
I prefer it for breakfast, but whatever.
I think that kind of went out and I think that might be even though those had larger speakers and real amp in it, that would be that time period's equivalent to the Bluetooth thing, because it's convenient. It kind of blends.
Devices as furniture is super on the way out.
I think
we don't even put TVs on tables anymore. We just mount them straight to the wall because they're so light now.
Well, so I think that plays into it too. Is I think there was a time period, I don't know when, maybe late 80s and through the 90s, where the thing, it was systems, it was all about building out your TV system. That was a dream.
Yeah.
My parents have an actual Bose 5 points, a 5.1 Bose system.
Wow.
So it has the 3 forward satellites, 2 rear satellite, full surround sound with the bass.
Yeah.
And it was for TV.
Yeah, so you can really hear Home Improvement.
And and the whole thing was that my uncle works, that's his business.
Yeah.
So he had a full theater set up at home, and so one of the rooms that they had that set up in, the master recliner, for lack of a better word, was positioned perfectly. He had this room set up like a showroom, where we came over, and he tells my dad, sit down here. We're gonna watch Top Gun. So he sits down, and the opening.
And you fast forward straight to the volleyball scene.
Yeah,
you can really hear the ball slapping around.
You can really hear the oil. No, it's like the opening scene of Top Gun. Where is it? The opening scene where like he does a flyby,
right?
And he sits down there. He goes, watch this, and he like turns it up super loud,
and you can hear the
and
jet.
You can just hear the jet like going
Yeah.
through, and it sounds like super realistic and whatever. And I don't know if the TVs now just have better speakers in them. They probably don't. Or what? Like, or maybe it's just like you said, like because everything's gone flat screen, like people don't want things that take up space.
I think your everyday mass consumer it can't tell the difference, doesn't care, and they prefer to have an aesthetic life where like things look modern, they have the modern equipment. Like it looked impressive in the 80s and the 90s and back to the 70s as well. They have stacks of equipment that made it look like you had a studio system in your living room with giant knobs on it to control the volume for the power amp and all the sliders and everything. But now people really just want, when the TV's off, for it to disappear like it's just a black picture on the wall. And if they have extra speakers, they have a sound bar mounted below it.
Well, and you think about like the way the size,
and you can get massive sounds out of those things too. Like I was saying, that little Bluetooth speaker I have, it sounds like really decent.
Yeah.
Like,
or people just get like the sound bar edition for their TV that like is a speaker upgrade.
Yeah.
I think the overall design of rooms, like, did your parents have a full like, I don't know, you called them entertainment centers?
Oh yeah, they had the big oak entertainment center.
Yeah,
like so you could fit the biggest TV you could imagine in there, a 36-inch CRT.
Oh wow, 36.
Big one.
Well, it's like so, and Melissa and I, we had an entertainment center when we first moved in. You and Adam helped me move that thing. And we had like a 32-inch TV in that thing for the longest time. And it's actually funny, like you think about it, like
so you are impressed by the 36.
The 36. You think about it, and it's goofy because you think about like, oh man, I got this entertainment center. I got the biggest TV I could ever imagine. But now, granted, I have bookcases that box it in, but I have my TV on just like a TV stand situation. Like it's just a long table like this. And with that, it's like, okay, if you get an entertainment center, man, I can fit the biggest TV on, like this entertainment center can fit a 36 or 40-inch TV. This is the biggest TV that I can even imagine ever wanting to own, but you can't fit anything bigger. Now I got this basically giant wood, like this long wood table. I can pretty much fit TVs that I can't conceptualize on this thing.
Yeah, because you just have the wall now.
That's not fully true, but yeah, like the limitations are the entire length of the thing. So it's like I could fit like probably theoretically like an 80 or 70 or 80-inch TV on it.
We should circle this back around to the sound equipment.
Well, so
we're talking about TVs a lot now.
So I think that some of it is that this was all like dual purpose systems.
Right. You already had a shelving system made to accommodate like all this stuff. You get the TV, you put it in your entertainment system. Now you've got all these shelves you got to fill. Might as well fill it with audio equipment.
Yeah,
and put your speakers on top.
And so I think that's the other thing is with the flat screen, you have smaller surfaces. You don't have the vertical space to fill up. Our TV table thing has cabinets under it that does. I do have like my cable, my modems in there, and things like that. I guess I could fit like a receiver or something in there if I really wanted to, but I've got like my DVDs and watra. I don't have like a ton of room. But here's the other thing that I think changed. What came out in the 80s, changed format. Well, that too. This works in what tech piece came out in the 80s, changed formats in the 90s, changed formats again in like the 2000s. Now it's just part of like you carry it around with you all the time. You don't even think about it. The Walkman becomes the Discman, becomes the iPod, becomes
I don't know. We were talking about the actual player. I thought we were going to talk about the format of the media.
Well, I'm saying like that, yes, but yeah. So the CD is part of that, and I think for us, like I had a Walkman when I was like, well, I didn't have a Walkman. My parents had like a some kind of tape player that was in your pocket.
Yeah,
and then I had a
there was all this
CD player.
There was all this emphasis on, the quality of the audio, and that's just shot to hell now. No one cares. Like,
because
no one spends any time thinking about the quality of their streaming track off of Spotify.
Yeah, there was definitely times at home where like I would be listening to, MXPX CD or whatever on my little boombox in my bedroom, and my parents would come in and be like, "It's 9:00 at night. I don't want to hear that noise anymore." So I took that out and I put it in my Discman, and I just kept listening. And I'm still listening. And now at 35 years old, what am I doing at work all day? I'm listening to music off of my phone in my headphones, or I'm listening to podcasts off of my phone in my headphones. So when I'm in the kitchen and I'm doing stuff, I don't even have a speaker in my kitchen.
Right.
I'm plugging in freaking headphones. I've been listening to music on headphones,
little earbuds,
for freaking 25 years.
I think there's always going to be a market for higher end home audio stuff, and people who want that.
Sure.
But it's definitely way less ubiquitous as it used to be.
I think the average consumer
doesn't
care if they want like a Bluetooth speaker. It's because
I don't think the average consumer even questions whether or not the thing that they're listening to now is the highest quality version of that.
Right.
Like they don't go like, "Oh man, this Spotify stream sounds like it's like really like low bit rate or something like that." Yeah. They're just like, "Oh, this is just the way the song sounds. I just want to hear the hook and whatever."
Yeah, and I think
want to hear the music that I like.
I think also advances in emulation or changes in the music itself, either changes in the music itself,
sure,
changes in the emulation technology around it. You buy again for the last like 20 years, probably longer, every friggin' set of headphones is like, we engineered the drivers in these headphones to really emphasize that bass for your hip hop records,
so
hip hop CDs or whatever. And so it's like everything was like that. Like you don't need a 8-inch speaker. You don't need a full stereo receiver system if you want to like really feel the full body experience of bass.
Right,
you need that. But if you just want to hear it like kind of blasting your eardrums, I don't know, just get whatever.
I don't know, should we move on?
You picked this
topic, I feel like,
man.
Yeah, I feel like there's not, all you can say is like the way it is. It's like, do you think that there's any potential for to go back in the future? Do you think people will like get into home audio systems?
I think some people really are. I mean,
like you don't even see people like nerding out over like car audio systems now, because that used to be a really common thing. Like everyone trying to get, like a really nice car audio system. Now people just kind of accept what they have now.
Well, a lot of stock car systems are okay. They're not going to blow anybody out, but they're a higher quality than the AM FM radio era of like the 80s and 90s.
Here's my breakdown of the whole issue. Modern stuff that we have now, though it looks small and it's it seems like it's not as a big of a deal, is pretty dang good and delivers like a good experience for being small and inexpensive. And then also people don't care anymore.
Yeah.
They have other things to entertain themselves with. I think people, did those deep dives with audio equipment much more back in the day because there was less around for them to entertain themselves with. Now it's like you can stream any movie, any show you want, any song you want, any time of day.
Right.
Like you do not have to wait for an entertainment experience. You can sit and play a video game on your phone at the stoplight.
Yeah, actually, speaking of which, I need to
you got to check up on
your harvest my corn
on your castle crystals or something like that. Well, you were playing a cat game a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, on the iPad.
Mid podcast. And it's just like there's so much more to entertain yourself with that we don't have to go down these rabbit trails of like collecting audio equipment anymore to like enhance our experience of the few things that we used to entertain ourselves with.
And I don't think this is an industry that will. He says, why is quality home sound going the way of the dinosaur? And I don't think it is. I think it's becoming highly specialized.
Yes.
I think there will always, always is a long word.
Forever and ever.
But I think there will for a much longer time than I can estimate be a market for people who are like super into vinyl. Like that market's going to exist.
Oh, sure.
And as long as there's,
well, I think the vinyl like niche is way different than like high-end home audio stuff. I think that's more of like people collecting experiences.
Right, but he's also talking about
audio.
having like a semi-decent home stereo system. I think people who are into vinyl, who are like really into vinyl, are gonna do the throwback stuff. So they're gonna get like a I don't know, like whatever. They're gonna spend $600 on a turntable. They're gonna be willing to spend the same amount of money on a power amp and a good set of speakers for that. That, you know, they could hook all of that, their TV up to that stuff if they wanted to too. Like it's multi-purpose. The music stuff, like I don't have that purpose anymore.
Yeah.
Because TV is about is more of a visual consumption. I guess TV's always been a visual consumption, but like I just don't really care about filling my house. Also, I live in a condo, so I'm a little skewed.
Yeah.
On that. But like yeah, I don't see the need for it. And yeah, I think there is a drive of,
I think the people that in our day and age who like go down that hobbyist road with this stuff are like PC gamers.
Right.
People
you think that's like the equivalent.
I think that's the equivalent. I think that's where that hobby lives now. People building out their PC rigs and, you know, getting really into like expanding their gaming experience,
right?
Even with audio, like having surround sound for their audio and, you know, different graphics cards.
There's always there's always weird little niche markets. I've been getting advertisements for mechanical switches for people who take their keyboards apart and replace all of the stock switches.
Oh my gosh.
With like these super upgraded like mechanical. They're called like Panda switches or something. I don't know anything about it.
Whatever.
It's an ad.
Let's do this next ad here. It looks like it was on like Facebook Market.
Oh no! You know what we didn't do? We jumped the sponsor spot. This first sponsor this week is Chase Bliss Audio. We're talking about those guys with the digital brains and analog hearts. We're targeting. We got
the tonal
red
recall
knob
here.
Red knob mod tonal recall right here.
We've got a lot of Chase Bliss around here.
This is a fantastic delay.
We talked about the red knob mod last week.
Gives you more time. We didn't get another pedal down because we forgot. Because we just did not prepare as well as we should have.
We got the Dark World here. I was wearing the shirt for this.
Dark World is digital brain, digital heart.
Yeah, double digital. Get both your digits in there.
Yeah.
This is a great one. I mean, I've been doing a lot of kind of like spacey ambient reverb demos lately.
Do you have enough reverbs now that you could do a... No, hold on. Let me finish that. You just do like a space instead of doing like... You always do these reverb shootouts, but they all revolve around like which one is the drippiest reverb.
Yeah, no, I have enough.
You should do some what is the spaciest reverb?
What is the
space?
The dampiest reverb, damp versus drip. But like this thing has made such an impression in the world that like on a lot of these ambient reverb videos I'm doing, people are asking if I could compare it to the Dark World. Or like making comparisons themselves. I'm like, I don't know. In this video, the Dark World sounds this, and this pedal sounds this and that. It's like,
right.
This thing made a splash, and it does have drippy sounds in it too. It's got a really nice spring sound in it. So this pedal plays double duty for me. I like to have it on my board for worship at church and for surfing at the bar.
Very cool.
You know?
Very cool.
It makes some great sounds. Go check out ChaseBlissAudio.com, I assume.
It is ChaseBlissAudio.com.
They got it. They got the domain. Good for them. I don't know if there was ever a problem with that.
I feel like there was some pedal company I saw come out recently, and I thought about like just jumping on the domain.
Anytime someone gets like their full domain, I'm just like, good for you.
Oh no, there was something I was listening to the other day where they were like, oh, somebody better get that domain. And I was thinking about
I think it was on the Gear Slam.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
I was like, oh man, I'm going to go buy it right now. And then by the time I got to work, I forgot about it.
All right, so this
ad was sent by Craig Breslin. It's in the UK. It's a Squier SP10 with built-in power for pedals. I have this excellent practice amp, which comes with a fully PAC tested AC extension designed as a power outlet for your pedals. This is 10 British pounds.
How much does that weigh in American?
Also,
it's probably like $12, right?
I think it's like 18, $20.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, I mean, we don't want to talk about the value of this amp because clearly this is like the bottom barrel, like budget practice amp.
This thing freaks me out, dude.
That comes with, a Strat pack or whatever with your Squier. Yeah, but the mod is what we want to talk about. They've like hard modded this power outlet into the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
And how does the amp still have its original power cable? Is that what's going?
It's that little white thing down
there.
So
it's like they installed a wall outlet into the back of the amp. So you plug the amp in and then you can plug other things into the back of the amp. This is a hell of a mod for a $20 amp. I would call this a $6 amp, honestly, because that's what this would go for at a garage sale.
I don't even know. I don't see anything for PAC test. I think this might be actually supposed to be PAT test, which is portable appliance test.
Right.
So that's that's like the equivalent to the UL test.
I bet that box there cost more than the amp is worth.
Yeah.
I bet they went to the hardware store and they spent $12 on that outlet box. And they spent 3 hours getting it wired up.
This thing, like I get it, and I've obviously it
does feel dangerous.
I've owned amps with this type of thing from the factory, and really all it is typically is it's an accessory outlet that's hardwired. Like it's your plug goes in, and then mains power is going this direction. And you got a couple wires going this way to an accessory outlet.
I have this same thing on my Walrus Phoenix power supply. Like there's a power out on it. So you could plug another thing into there.
But the execution on this
is so sketch.
No, thank you.
No,
thank you.
They did this just so that you can have a free plug to plug your pedal board into.
Now they're selling it.
It's not like you're gonna gig with this amp and be like, oh, there might not be enough power outlets at the gig.
Wait, you would not gig with a 10-watt Squier?
If this is for home use, which it should definitely only be for, just get a power strip and run your amp off of a $5
Ryan,
power
what
strip.
If my amp is on the opposite side of the room from where the power is?
Get an extension cord. I don't know. This is bananas. I don't want to look at this anymore. Jeez. Talk about an unnecessary project.
Yeah. You got anything else on this?
I don't. Let's
you got to hit another sponsor spot.
Let's
knock
these
out.
Let's hit the vein again. Let's get some cash infusion over here.
This next sponsor spot is SquatchDesign.com. They make these pedal boards.
They're a division of Sinusoid.
They are part of... Are they a division of Sinusoid?
They're part of the Sinusoid family.
They are part of the Sinusoid family. These boards are these nice wood boards. Very wood. Very bored. But the deal with these is they're able to build these at a relatively lower cost because they don't go out and try to find fancy woods for you. They use the woods that are locally accessible to the contractors that they have building these that they've partnered with. So they're just great. They're small. This one's a double slot. They've got I think 3 different sizes of these. They're freaking fantastic.
Very simple, easy to design. You can tuck some power down under there if you want. I like to use these just to stage little temporary pedal boards that I need when I'm doing demos. Say I need a reverb or delay after the thing that I'm demoing, or I need my tuner, my looper, my power supply on this. It's easy to stage together a little board really quick. Like Steve said, these are affordable. The thing I pitched last week, and I want to pitch again, is that these aren't made to order. You go on the website, and the ones that are on the website are the ones that you're actually going to buy. And when they run out, they run out.
Yeah.
But the benefit is that there's no wait time. You're not ordering something to be built. It's already built, and you're going to get it shipped to you ASAP. The exact thing that you saw pictures of on the website.
Yeah.
So they're available right now. Go check out the website and see what they have up on there.
Yeah. Head on over to squatchdesign.com. Squatch Design. They make pedal boards
and smiles.
This episode's also brought to you by D'Addario auto lock straps. So we actually got a pair of these guys. These have we talked about it before, but they have this little clicking strap system. We should do like a quick 1 minute thing with this, just showing like how easy this is and the number of guitars that we can fit these on. We actually have 2 different cables from them.
You mean
straps? One is the basic woven like seatbelt style. That's the one I got here. Ryan has the padded strap.
Yeah, it's got this really neat
it's almost like a backpack strap, like a thin backpack kind of thing. It's really cool.
I want to comment on the material that this is made out of, because when I saw it online, I was worried that it was going to be some sort of like soft cottony like binding material. I like a nice slick like nylon material that slides across my shirts and stuff like that, and that's what this is. It's a nice slick nylon. It feels a little bit softer than like say my my budget like Ernie Ball straps or whatever, and it is padded.
Yeah,
but it is that kind of nylon that is going to slide across your body and not get bound up. I like to be able to move the guitar. I don't like it when you've got like a cotton or like a suede strap that like holds the guitar in place. Yeah. I want to be able to like get dynamic with it on stage and have some movement. So
how about you show these people how easy this thing is to slap onto that guitar you got right there?
Oh. Why am I having trouble?
We rehearsed this. Oh man, you're killing me.
Is it this guitar?
No, I got it on that guitar. Let me see this.
Show me what I'm doing wrong.
Oh, maybe it is.
I think it's that guitar.
This has like super fat.
Yeah. Faux pas over here.
Get a normal guitar.
Get the Jennings.
Clips right there.
Really quick.
How did we find the one guitar that in your entire collection this will not fit on? I literally put this strap on. But this one has 5 different guitars.
Has the normal strap button here. The Harley Benton has some sort of weird fat one.
Unfreaking believable.
But yeah, that just clicks on and off.
Yeah.
So quick. I'll show some sort of close up of this product design, and now you've got a strap that is literally locked on there, like it's not going anywhere.
It's a really great product. I really like it. I'm really glad they sent us these so we can actually put our hands on them. And
I like the material a lot.
It's like a really thick, like nice reinforced plastic. It will go on almost any guitar. It's just integrated. It's an easy spring-loaded thing. The straps are really nice. Both of these straps are like great. A lot of companies that I've seen try to do this kind of thing, they kind of cheap out on the strap because they're all their focus is on the technology, and I don't feel like they've like gone cheap here. And again,
this is a really unique strap design here.
I will say it does say on the marketing, it does say fits most strap buttons on the market, and we just happen to find probably like the 1%. The other one that I know it won't fit on is those weird Ibanez straps or strap buttons from the 80s, where it's the V. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably not going to fit on those. Anyway, go check it out. I got a link below in the show notes. This is the D'Addario Auto Lock strap.
I feel like these straps go on quicker and easier than a traditional leather end strap.
No, they definitely do.
On and off.
It's a super easy integration onto the guitar. It's no work. You don't have to mod your guitar like you would for like a full strap lock system.
Yeah. I like that the ends are plastic. I don't like to have like the metal on metal feel for the most part with strap locking stuff.
I don't know if you noticed this either. We're still talking about this. I thought I was ready to move on. But the inside of it too has like a bit of a tacky rubber to it.
Yeah.
So it's going to stick a little bit to your finish, not in like a bad way, but in like just a rubbery way, so that plastic isn't dinging up against the body of your guitar all the time too.
It's not going to clink around on your guitar. It's going to be kind of a softer experience. I'm impressed.
Go freaking check it out, okay?
It's a cool product.
Gosh.
It's a cool product. I'm just saying.
It is a cool product.
So now we're going to do like a topic grab bag.
Yeah, if I can get the ad or the topic thread,
which is what we do when we get like so many topics that we think are great but not great enough to talk about for 20 minutes.
All right, custom versus parts guitars. Nah.
Here's the first one. You didn't go all the way back.
I did. That's the first.
No, it's not.
Oh, you're just doing the ones off the pictures. I was just going to do the ones off the page.
Oh, yeah. Well, I screen grabbed the ones that I thought were the very best.
Fine.
So we've got like 8 that are like the best.
Old Glory custom built Les Paul. How do we feel about American flag guitars? What makes one tasteful? When have you gone too far? Myself personally, this falls into the it falls into a couple different categories for me. But the first category is it's kind of like Ryan and guitar based accessories like guitar lamps and guitar couches and stuff.
You already know that you're an American.
Yeah, I don't need a guitar to remind me that I'm an American.
But you need it to remind your audience that you're an American, which feels redundant when you're in America. But say you're an American on tour outside the country, do you feel like maybe that's the appropriate time to be like, here's a guitar to remind you that I'm an American. Don't forget it.
Given the I don't know what 8 regional accents of the United States are pretty much limited to the United States, with the exception maybe of like West, like the overlap between like Pacific Northwest and Southwest Canada.
I have no idea where he's going with this.
Northern, say like the Minnesotan accent and like the Rick Moranis accent, like that that Canadian, like the slight, basically the border Canadian overlap. Like if I'm in freaking Mexico City playing a show, I don't think they're going to be like, huh, where's this guy from? Like, it's pretty obvious I'm an American. If I'm in the UK playing a show and I'm not up there going like, hi mates, what y'all blokes up to? I'm pretty sure they're gonna be like, oh yeah, that guy's an American. Like, I don't think I need an American flag guitar to remind the Germans that I'm an American.
The one that's shaped like the lower 48 is the ultimate American flag guitar.
It's the American flag on the American map.
I'm gonna say like, I don't think I'm down. I'm looking through American flag guitars right now. And I don't think I'm down aesthetically for any of these. I think it's just it's too literal.
Yeah.
Like here is like a literal like flag on the guitar. I think it's too much. What I really like and what I would own in a heartbeat is any guitar with the like the Mosrite style 3-color red, white, blue, which technically isn't supposed to be a flag thing. It's technically supposed to be like a sales thing where it's like, oh, you can order this guitar in these 3 colors, and the traveling salesman would have it for display.
Oh, okay.
I know I've revealed this on the show before.
Oh yeah.
It has blown your mind every time.
Well, did you talk about this because I was thinking when we did the mod contest,
right?
The Jim Bowers guitar.
Yeah.
I was thinking of that guitar where it's got a red, white, and blue motif, and like I guess you could do that, but then if you played that guitar in France, they might be confused, or in the UK, or
if you're an American playing it, people know. They see your cowboy hat. They know what you're all about. But I feel like
they see you're chewing tobacco.
A patriotic theme is a better look than just slapping some stars and stripes on there. Because it can feel like too forced. It's too obvious. You're pushing it too hard. Like play it cool a little bit. Be a little bit more stylish. I don't know.
What? Okay, so this specific custom built Les Paul design, what cover band do you need to be in to play this guitar?
What cover band?
Or like what genre of music / cover band?
Well, you definitely got to be in like a rock band, like a rock.
Okay, the correct answers are you are in a Kid Rock cover band.
Sure.
Or
I was almost there.
Or you are in or you're a country western artist.
Sure.
All right, this next topic was sent in by Adam Miller. He says, "Buy or build? You have you have, as Ryan would put it, $800 to $600 to spend on a new guitar. Do you buy new or even used guitar at that level, or do you do a parts build, getting exactly the guitar in your head? When do you start considering resale value?" And Chris Reynolds right away says, "I buy a Reverend," and I kind of agree with $600-800. I think I'm looking at Reverends.
I think it's $600-800. I'm not looking at a parts build. Because at that price range, you can get a really great playing guitar, off the wall somewhere. Like there's that's Mexican Fenders. You can get a really great playing Mexican Fender for $600 to $800 and well under. You can get some accessories with it too. Or you could get a Reverend. There's all sorts of guitar brands you can buy from in that price range that are going to deliver a player's guitar, where I feel like when you're doing a parts build, something is going to be the weak link.
Yeah.
In that, like,
doing a parts build for 600-800 is tricky. I think you might be able to sneak into, like, if you can, I don't know how finished of a guitar you can get, but I think you can get some certain things done. Like, I think you could get a good body and neck.
I think
for 600-800, but then I don't know what you still have to buy your parts. Here's what I'm doing with $800.
Here it comes.
What's a Jennings Navigator? Like 14?
Something like that.
1400?
You can down paint it.
I'm doing 800. I'm going to call him up. I say, Chad, listen, buddy. I got $800. I know your guitars are like double that, but I do play in a church band, and he does do a church band discount. So it's like a little bit there. And I tell him, I'm just going to stack all these discounts, man. Church band discount. I'm a good guy. Give me that good guy discount.
I've got a coupon for cheddar cheese for the store.
I'm like, we both live in California. Times are tough. Taxes are high. Give me that sunshine discount.
This is a bad story.
After I stack like 3 or 4 of these discounts up,
no, Steve, this is what you do is you take your $800 and then you sell 5 or 6 pedals, and you take that money and you group it together with $800, and then you go buy the guitar from Chad.
There we go. Here's what I do. I invested $800 in microphones and a Rode podcaster thing.
I mean,
I spend 5 years building a podcast audience.
Oh God, it's too real.
And then I still haven't made my initial investment of $800.
Let's be honest. If I have $800, I buy 3 Squiers. And each one of them is going to be more playable than the $800 parts guitar I probably played. Because the reality is, with an $800 parts guitar, it's still going to be a project. Like, you're still going to be trying to dial it in, because you've spent $300 on a neck, you've spent $200 on a body. You want to drop really nice pickups in there because you're building your custom guitar that's just for you. So you spend $200, $300 on pickups. There's no money left over for the hardware.
Right.
And so now you're throwing in, the cheapest Amazon hardware you can find. And then when you get the neck, the frets weren't just right. So you're having to learn how to redress the frets and things like that. And there's a lot of just fine tooling that comes into the fit and finish, quality control side of doing parts guitars. And where I hear people say it all the time, parts guitars, a lot of times they just never quite get there,
Yeah.
I think that's the theme of the show. We see all these parts guitars and all these home projects end up on Craigslist and wherever. It's just because they just never got there. Someone poured a lot of energy and a lot of time and a lot of heart into them. And then it just never became the player that they wanted it to be. Where you buy a guitar off the wall at a shop or even offline, and it's right away whether or not it's going to be a player.
There's a couple other angles here, I think. One, as far as doing a parts build, maybe you have a local guy who does parts build. In the last episode we talked about that the Coleman Customs. I guess that's a little more like 1100. We had the butt guitar in this episode. Maybe you have a guy like that that's kind of local to you, and you're like, hey, I
want a butt guitar.
What can you do for $800? What can we figure out here? And they can kind of maybe part something together. And if they're really know what they're doing, or maybe you have those skills.
Sure.
I don't think I have those skills. I'm not, because I just haven't developed it.
Well, I think if you have the skills to build a really good parts guitar, then you're not building a parts guitar. You're just building a guitar.
Right. Well, I mean, there's that too. And then the other thing is, in terms of, so I was going to say, along with that is $600-800 gets you a lot of guitar.
It does.
I mean, all joking aside with the Jennings, I do have, I picked up that Les Paul Studio Lite for $550, I think, $600.
I mean, that's used.
That's used, but he says
fluke pricing,
new or even used. But if you're buying a Reverend, $800 is a used price on a Reverend. That's doable.
Yeah.
There are deals out there. It's a fluke, but those at the same time, the Les Paul Studio Lights, they don't the price I got it at was a fluke price, but $800 is at the bottom end of the range on those. Like you can get like a kind of beat up Les Paul Studio for $800.
Yeah.
You know, there are deals out there. Like you can get your, get like a moderate dream guitar, I think, for $800.
Oh yeah, I got my Hallmark Sweepwing for $900.
Yeah,
and that's $100 off from that. If I watch the used market long enough, I could pick one up for $800. I'm sure.
Yeah.
There's some really, really good guitars in that price range, and this feeds in kind of to the next topic here that was asked by Darren Schmeiz. Custom versus parts guitars. And then later he clarifies, it's more discussion of where the line is between the two, as per one of my previous posts. And then Chris Reynolds commented, you mean crafted versus assembled.
Right.
So what, in your mind, what's the difference between a custom guitar and a parts guitar? Do you want to, should we define what we think each of those things is?
I think a true custom guitar is being built with a true custom guitar is being built to the specifications of the
you're stalling out. I've got a thing. I got to say.
You got a hard thing. Go.
So a custom guitar, in my mind, comes from someone who can or is building production guitars.
Okay.
A guitar from someone who doesn't build production guitars or can't, but assembles something for themselves or for others that, yes, it has specific, build out qualities to it, but they're not production ready. That's not a custom guitar. That's a parts guitar.
Okay, but what if they make... So I guess to counter that, Kiesel.
Sure.
Is Kiesel making... I mean, I guess they kind of have production stuff.
No, that's why I was saying that they have the ability to. Like, Kiesel could definitely be like, oh, we're going to make a production line. They have the facilities. They have they are a professional, legit...
So again, like we just talked about them. I mean, man, we should. I know ask them for money.
Their business model is that they you custom order.
Would you say like Jennings is a custom guitar? Like he could just stop taking custom orders and be like, you're gonna buy what I make.
The Navigator is his production model, but he allows you to select various parts of it. But I think like all his other stuff is all essentially one-offs.
Okay,
you order a Voyager.
It's a body style.
You order a Voyager and you get different. You choose the finishes and you choose the pickup loadout and stuff like that. Where like the Navigator is production, it's going to be the same pickups every time. But like that is still that is a guitar shop.
Where would you put in companies that are producing parts guitars? So they have effectively like a production line, but they're using that to just do assembly and like fit and finish.
Are we talking about companies that basically buy MJT parts?
Sure.
And then they exist as a guitar brand?
They're buying higher end stuff.
Right.
I'm not saying like they're buying like a bunch of Squiers and whatever. I'm saying like they're buying high end stuff, but they're not like making anything.
Right.
And that's all they do. But maybe they also do like a production line. That's where the line gets
blurry because it's like if they're doing fit and finish on frets and making it a more playable guitar and things like that, and even if they are ordering like the parts and certain finishes to certain specs, then I feel like that's more custom.
Right.
Even though they are not producing the parts.
So here's what I would say.
It's a weird line.
I think the majority of guitar...
Really is a line between amateur and professional.
Right. I would say that he says there's always ads saying custom, but really they're just parts guitars. It's more of a discussion of where the line is, like you said. I would say that if you're selling a guitar as a custom guitar that you built, it's a custom guitar to you. Right. A custom guitar has to be built to the specifications of the buyer.
Yes. I like that.
So if I'm buying okay, like we talked about it. I don't know. I assume their production model's still the same. If it's changed, I don't know this. But TMG.
Right.
TMG, if I order a TMG to my specifications, even though they're going to be, okay, it's to your specifications, now I have to order a green body from whoever they order the bodies from. Right. I have to order
the pickups that you want.
A baseball style neck from whoever I order my necks from. I have to order the pickups you want. That's all being that's all being assembled to my specifications.
Right.
If I buy a pre-assembled TMG because I like the specs that are on it, that's not a custom guitar.
That's a production guitar.
That's a production guitar. Now, maybe it's a one-off production because, like you said, like I can get a Jennings Navigator. Now, Jennings, he's making all of it.
Right.
But I can get a Jennings Navigator that's already been produced and I see it on Instagram and I go, dude, I want that guitar. Or I can be like, I want a guitar that's just like that, but instead of a black pickguard, I want a white pickguard, and instead of those pickups, I want these other pickups, and now it's a custom guitar.
Right. Here's let's say you walk into Fender,
okay,
and you pick up a guitar off the line, and you're like, this black Strat with a white pickguard and white hardware is cool and all. But I want it customized for me.
Mm-hmm.
I want a black switch tip on it. And then some tech takes it over to the workbench and switches the tip for you. So now you have a black switch tip. Is that now a custom guitar?
No. If all of the specifications on the guitar aren't any different, like, so okay, maybe.
I think there's a lot of fuzzy gray line there. Like if you called them up and like, you were just like, take your production American Strat. Those are the exact specs I want, and build a guitar like that. And then I just want a black switch tip on it. Like,
I guess technically it's custom, but I think for a brand,
it's a waste of a custom.
I think for a brand like Fender, they have a custom shop. And so basically if you're buying something that's not coming with the certificate of authenticity, yeah, maybe it's custom, but it's not custom shop.
Sure.
So that's like, it's hard because
I think we're boiling down here. A custom guitar is a one-off version of what could be a production guitar from a builder that could make production quality, versus a amateur build that is built to the builder's specifications.
Yeah,
that was outside of their skill level to build the whole thing themselves.
I think you could even say a custom guitar. I think a custom guitar, to an extent, I feel like someone can poke holes in all of this, but I kind of feel like a custom guitar has to be built by a company, period, regardless. So if you have somebody just, I guess if you just know a woodworker and you're like, hey, make this, here's all the blueprints, make it work. Your thing, you just lose your iPad?
Yeah.
Make this,
it's not
make,
iPad,
make
it's
that.
Google Drive.
And the whole thing just craps. Like, so you know somebody who, if you give them a Telecaster body specification, like they could build that for you.
Right.
Like, I guess technically that would be a custom guitar because they're building it specifically for you, but they're just making the parts and you're assembling it.
I think it really comes down to an intrinsic, like, unmeasurable thing where it's like, no one cares if you got a custom guitar from, Joe Fret Crowner who happens to live down the street.
Well, and
like you found him on Craigslist and he's like, I'll build you like a blue Strat that's different
so
from
that
a blue
guy
Strat.
up in Oceanside who's like taking Squiers, doing a bunch of fretwork on them, putting machine screw threads on all the necks, like that's not a custom guitar. That's a hot rodded parts guitar.
It's all about the name droppability of it. It's like It's like, oh yeah, no big deal. I've got a custom PRS. It's different.
So that's what I mean.
Than
it's
a
like
production.
You could have
thing.
somebody do all of the same work that Jennings does, but if they only make 2 guitars a year, that's not a custom guitar.
Yeah.
But then what do you call it? Like if they're doing, like if all the parts are made from scratch, it's not a custom guitar. But it's not a parts guitar. Like, it is a custom guitar, but it doesn't have any value.
This is murky. It's hard to define. Like, it really comes down to the perception of the buyer.
Coach Schneider asks, why when you know what? I want the listeners to weigh in on that because I don't know, man.
It's tough.
I think everyone maybe has their own definition.
I think it's easy to spot it on the extremes, but when you get into the gray area, it's harder.
I just want to know what people think. Hit us up on those comments.
Sure.
Shoot us emails, whatever. Jump in the Facebook group. Start a thread. Coach Schneider says, why, when I'm satisfied with my sound and gear, I still have a desire to acquire more.
You got that gas, man.
I just saw this comment. Coach says, I know whose fault it is, and he posts a picture of Ryan.
Yeah.
That was back when we were recording in your in the
dining room area.
Seating room, whatever.
Lofty sort of thing, I guess. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, obviously I'm in a position now where I'm getting all sorts of gear all year round.
Mm-hmm.
But the vast majority of it is gear that I didn't ask for.
Right.
Like, I didn't I didn't shop for it. I didn't see it come on the market and be like, oh man, I got to scratch my itch and get that.
Yeah.
But even though I'm getting all that stuff,
you still want other stuff.
Like, probably at the same rate as I used to, like 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah.
Something catches my eye and I'm like, I got to get that. I buy it. I buy stuff still. And I'm still like, oh, that's the thing that I want. I'm going to find a way to get it, whether I buy it or whether I, do work trade for it or something like that. And I feel like I have this built-in level of curiosity and, gear thirst.
Yeah.
That is still at the same pace as it used to be before doing all this nonsense that we do now. Right. So I don't know what that means as in terms of this question, but why? What the question is, like, why do we still want stuff even though we like? Because it's not like I hate my rig. It's not like there's holes in my rig, but I see something that does a thing that I like, and maybe it does it different or better than the thing I already have, and then I have to have it.
I mean, I think this is just like an intrinsic.
Why do I have 6?
I think it's an intrinsic
250s.
I think it's an intrinsic human nature that applies it applies across the board. Like, why is it when the speed limit's 70 miles an hour and you have a car that'll do 90, you're like,
why do I keep trying different kinds of hamburgers?
Right. Like, why do you need it? Why do you want a car? Like, how much are you actually benefited from a car that does a 7-second 60 versus a 9-second 60?
Like, benefit 2 seconds.
2 seconds, but like, do you really need it? Like,
no.
Who knows? Like, we're always looking for. Like, I think there's something in human nature that's always like trying to improve things, even when they don't actually need to be improved.
Sure. Well, I don't know. I don't know what that is. There's something sick inside of us, or maybe it's healthy. Maybe it's what makes us, like I said, healthy.
This goes back to like the home audio thing. Like, those people who are like super into home audio, like, it becomes this like,
right.
Oh man. Oh, I've never tried a high fidelity power tube amp.
I mean, we focus on the gear collecting and purchasing side of this music hobby, this guitar playing hobby. There's the whole side of actually playing the instrument that just is so boring.
You guys, but you guys have seen it. I don't even know how to play guitar.
I was thinking about it the other day. Like, there are hobbies where people spend the same amount of money, if not more, on things that doesn't have a skill side to it, that doesn't have a performance art side to it.
Yeah.
They just have a hobby of buying things. Like, they collect figurines and stuff like that. There's no skill after that of like being really good at figurines.
Yeah.
There's no skill of, I guess there's a skill of like, collecting people who build elaborate, like,
sure,
train
there's
things
like
and
there's a collection factor to some of it. There's also just like a quest thing. So like,
there's no skill in like being a sneaker freak, like, who has to like buy all these expensive sneakers. This
you
is
just
like,
want
you're
it.
just buying shoes when you could just buy like $2 slippers from Thrifties.
Yeah.
and protect your feet just fine.
There's definitely like, and in the case of shoes, like, it's a diminishing returns game. At some point, you're just doing
wear them out.
You're just doing it to say that you have it. Like why did you wait in line? Why did you jump in line 2 days ahead of time to buy 200 limited edition pair of Jordans? Because you could.
I was thinking about
this. Because you wanted it.
I was thinking about the sneakerhead people, and like, do you think that they buy shoes that aren't even their size just to have those model shoes in their possession?
I'm sure some people buy shoes out of their size because they expect there to be a post market for it, a flip market.
But I'm talking about people who buy just to collect.
But people are sneakerheads who are collect. They want to be able to wear them. But like literally, we're talking about people like who, that's their Easter. Like they don't put on a suit for Easter. They break out their once a year Air Jordans that are, pink and Carolina blue, because those are the Easter colors or whatever,
Chris Reynolds wants to know, why is the shape of a guitar such a factor in what most people feel it should be used for? Why can't a Jazzmaster or Jaguar be accepted as a thrash metal guitar, or a BC Rich Warlock as a country or jazz guitar? I mean, obviously aesthetics matter. Looks matter. Like a BC Rich looks like heavy metal. Like you could play jazz on a BC Rich just fine. It's got those humbuckers on there. Just roll the tone back.
Yeah.
Roll back the volume a little bit into a clean amp, and you're jazzing. Mm-hmm. And you got a nice flat radius on there. It's a jazz guitar, but it doesn't look like a jazz guitar. And if you're playing jazz to an audience, they're going to be like, what the hell is this?
I think traditional Jazz Masters or Jaguars, I mean, I guess it's an issue of like how heavily it's been customized. Like a traditional Jazz Master Jaguar, like people would say like, well, you can't really do like those shreddy runs because the neck is the wrong shape.
It's not a fast guitar. It's not as snappy in the string response. I think it probably has something to do with how much extra string there is behind the bridge. So you're moving more material around. Like you're having to charge it with resonance different.
I think a lot of this is just, it has to do with whatever style of music popularized it, or whatever style of music those brands decided to attach themselves to.
You take a Jazzmaster shape, you drop EMGs and a Floyd Rose in there, that's a metal guitar. Like, it doesn't matter if it's Seafoam Green or if it's Sunburst.
Well, and to that point, actually, like, as I'm like running this idea through my head, the Schecter, I don't know what the body shape is called, but it's the Schecter. Are you familiar with the Sinister Gates model?
I think so.
It's like this funky, like, the big thing that you see about it is that it's like black and silver.
Right.
But if you took that body shape and made it seafoam green and dropped a set of Strat pickups on it, like, it would be be such a like perfect fit into the surf guitar culture.
No, yeah,
that body shape.
I think we're talking about the same shape. It's the one where it looks like a super metal guitar because it's pointy on its horns. But then if you repainted it like sparkle blue, it's essentially the same shape as an old Teisco. Is that the one that we're thinking of?
Maybe.
They even use the Teisco headstock on it.
I'm thinking of this one.
Yep.
They use a Teisco headstock?
Well, let me see the headstock on that again.
This is the Schecter claw headstock. I'm not seeing any that have the...
They have that 4x2 one that Schecter uses sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, that's kind of like a Teisco headstock. I think that was like an earlier model of it.
Oh, boom. Same shape.
Yeah.
The Teisco Spectrum is the same shape as the
I think it's the Schecter Sinister Gates Custom S.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's the same shape. One's a metal guitar, one's a surf guitar.
Yeah.
Or a garage rock guitar, whatever you want to consider it. And it really just has to do... I mean, let's differentiate between...
I mean, the neck is probably totally different, and, all this stuff is different.
The things that matter here in the aesthetics are the color.
Yeah.
Hardware,
Pickard, this has a Floyd Rose.
Pickard color and stuff like that. And then the hardware matters because for a fast, like shreddy guitar, you have to have a flat radius, kind of jumbo fret sort of thing going on. You have to have hot pickups, and you have to have a bridge that provides the level of performance that you want.
Right.
But then like something that's more like a surfy, garage rocky, classic rock sort of concept, it can just be what it is, I guess. I mean, really, it's a discussion between what is a metal guitar versus what is any other guitar.
Yeah.
Because you can play jazz on any guitar. You can play rock on any guitar. But I think you can only play metal on guitars that are ready for metal. And it doesn't have to do with the color or the body shape. It has to do with the hardware loadout and the build, you know? We already covered that one. Any advice on selling relatively unknown high-end brands? I got an amp made to my specs a couple of years back, and it's killer, but I'm not sure how the boutique head would do on the market. ROI wise, I'm sure people run into this a lot. Any advice? This is from Sam Darwish.
I think the first piece of advice would be see if there are any enthusiast groups.
Yeah, you have to find the just what you said, the enthusiast groups. Like if I've been thinking about selling one of my Titan pit guards.
Yeah,
I'm not going to go to Reverb or eBay to sell that. I'm going to
go. You might be able to sell on Reverb,
but I'm going to go first to the Titan
discussion group. The Cower Titan discussion group, for sure.
Because there's going to be someone there who's likely to want it because they already have a Titan.
Yeah,
you know,
they're definitely depending on how relatively unknown it is, you know, but there's markets out there. It is tougher with some because there are like some high-end brands that are just so unknown.
Yeah.
In those cases,
like I feel at this
you might have to go on the gear page to sell, and then once you're in that space, I'm not sure how their buy, sell, trade emporium works anymore.
I feel like at this point it'd be fairly easy to resell like a Benson or a Milkman.
Yeah.
But then like, say you have like an Otis amp. Like you have to find someone who knows what that is, and is looking.
That's
for
a great
it.
example. I was actually the brands that popped in my head might have been something like Car. I think something like Car might be really known on like TDPRI.
Sure.
But I don't know how well it might be known to like the general guitar. I mean, I don't know. But there are some other.
It's hard to sell things that people aren't familiar with. It's really the issue, and it's not just amps. It's guitars. It's pedals. Like it might be the best build in the world, but if people aren't familiar with it, they're just not going to buy it because they don't know what it is. They don't know what to expect out of it, and it really is the risk that you take when you buy boutique, when you buy small builder. You have to be sure that you like what you're buying and that you're interested in keeping it for a long time as part of your rig, because it's not very, very, very few guitars are an actual investment.
Yeah.
You should be buying guitars and this gear unless it's a clear flip situation. But if you're buying it direct from the builder, you should be buying it with the intention to use it and watch it lose value.
I saw somebody post the other day like, oh, what's the best guitar on the market right now to invest in? And it's like, oh, I have like $2,000 or whatever. And like half the responses were like, just buy $2,000 worth of Apple stock.
Yeah, seriously. If you want to make an investment, go buy Netflix stock, you know, or buy whatever.
I think they're going to get hurt by Disney, man.
You think so?
I don't know. This whole Disney Plus thing has got me real weirded out. Am I going to have to get another subscription service?
That's a whole other discussion.
Speaking of things might have to buy in the future and we'll need more money for, I'd like to thank Luke Newsome for supporting our show at the $10 level. That's the Inner Circle level. I need to get him into the Inner Circle. I haven't done that yet.
Ooh.
At the $10 level, you get a merch pack that hopefully I send out eventually someday. I got a couple people that I said I would send merch packs to from January.
Oh, Steve.
They're not patrons. They're just people.
Okay. They're just regular
people. But at the $10 level, you get access to our Inner Circle group on Facebook, which gets you some behind the scenes stuff. Sometimes you get
all the behind the scenes stuff.
Sometimes you get like the podcast like up to 50 minutes early.
Sometimes an hour or two.
Yeah.
On a Sunday.
Sometimes a couple days early if you're real lucky.
I find that when I post it really early, like the previous week early, people complain like, great, now I don't have anything to listen to next week.
So anyway, thanks, Luke. If you want to support the show, head to patreon.com/60cyclehum. And donate at any level that you would like to. That'd be great. And we super appreciate everyone who supports the show.
$1 helps.
This last ad was sent by Jason Fuzzmonger. He says, theoretically, I should hate this. Why don't I?
Because it's beautiful.
This was originally posted on the DePinto Guitars page. It says, I sold this to my buddy Dane years ago, just did some repair to it, but couldn't pass up the opportunity to share it with you all. Enjoy Marlene 1979 Gibson Les Paul Custom with custom chopper detail. What we're looking at is a bunch of pinstripey kind of stuff on the front.
It definitely has that late 70s like van / motorcycle pinstripey
multi blue tones. I really like the multi layers of blue here.
Extra pinstriping around the control area just to segment that off so you know where it's at.
And
like
then
this could have one of those like van like diamond gel windows put onto it and it would fit, you know?
And then the back of this thing.
I love the back. I wish the back was the front kind of. No, I don't. I like the front. I'm glad it's on the back.
Is airbrush styling, a sun, some clouds. The phrase
we got some Pegasi here.
We got 2 Pegasi.
Pegasi!
And the words "I love you, Marlene," which have been skywritten by a biplane.
Is there a biplane in there?
Yeah,
there is a biplane in there.
Dude, scroll. There's more.
I'm scrolling. I see that biplane. This is now a very, very specific fantasy. I want to live in a world where there are Pegasuses, Pegasuses, and Pegasuses, and there are also biplanes in this world that skywrite while the Pegasus are flying through the sky.
This thing's just bonkers.
But I feel like this is the correct way to do this sort of thing. Like, it's one thing to like name a guitar and be like personify a girl, like a guitar to be like a girl. It's another thing to be like, this guitar is a symbol of my love to a real woman, to real Marlene.
You hope there's a real Marlene involved.
This says, I love you, Marlene.
Maybe he loves his guitar.
Maybe Marlene is a horse that died, and these are angel horses.
Oh, that's so sweet, Ryan. All right, let's get the hell out of here.
All right.
This song was sent by Michael Rigby from the band The Awkwards. We've played some of their stuff before. It's very cool. The song is called Baking in the Sun. He says it's our punk take on a surf style song. Guitar One was a guitar modeled after the greatest punk guitarist of all time, Tom DeLonge. I don't know how I feel about that. Strat style guitar with a Seymour Duncan Invader played through a Fender Bass Breaker 15. Guitar 2 is a Gibson Studio played through a Kemper. Don't hate me, but it didn't sound too bad. Bass is a G&L Active Bass played through an Ashdown 1x15 DI'd and mic. Anyway, he says, hope you enjoy it and stay grounded. That's my line. See ya.
Bye, everybody.
And stay grounded.